Today is decision day. Today is the day to decide. I've come to you the last couple of days and I told you that I'd seen Jesus. I told you that I'd followed him. I'd stopped work for a little bit and spent a few days looking and following, because so many people were telling me that there was this man Jesus and he was doing amazing things. And when he spoke, it was like more powerful and more true than anything I've ever heard from anyone else. Simple things like do to others what you would have them do to you. It's so simple and yet it's so powerful, and I just wanted to listen. And then he fed me. I'd followed him for a few days with thousands of others, and he fed me out of nothing, just a few loaves and some fish. And I followed him, and I listened in, and I watched, and I saw his close-knit group of people, and he was teaching them all sorts of things. And I was listening. He's a marvellous man. And I wanted to be on the in crowd. But somehow I never made that decision. I never took that step to get closer. I never decided to walk that nearer to him and actually speak to him myself. But today's the day to decide. And I confessed to you that I denied him. I shouted, "Crucify him." I shouted, "Crucify him," so loudly. Along with everybody else, I joined in. I joined in with the crowd. I spent time living out in the crowd, in the community, and joining in with what they were doing, and I followed it and I joined in with the crowd, which basically says, "Crucify Jesus, we don't want you here. We want you gone, we don't want you over us. We don't want you in power over us. We'd rather have someone who was a liar and a cheat and a deceiver and a robber, and we'd rather have that than have Jesus." And I joined in with the crowd shouting to get rid of Jesus. And they killed him. Those Roman soldiers pushed to do it so that these crowd and these religious leaders and all these voices would just be able to put Jesus out of that place on position of love and authority and power. Just get rid of him. Today's decision day. You see, they crucified him. They knew how to kill. Those know how to kill. He was put in the tomb, and Joseph, one of the leaders, not all of them were the same, but enough of them to be shouting to get rid of Jesus. They were the same. And Joseph got hold of Jesus' body and gave it a respectful burial. But there was fear. The next day there was fear. So they sealed up the tomb and posted some guards there. But today is the day to decide. Today is decision day. Because I've heard something that you're going to have to make a decision over. Because I've heard that he's not in the tomb. He's not there anymore. He's risen. He's alive. And it's hard to get, because we've got some people there saying, "Oh, the disciples came, overpowered the guards, rolled the stone away, and they've taken Jesus' body." and they've just got his body buried somewhere else. And yet there's other people who were Jesus' friends who have said they've seen him. I've heard them talking about it. They went down to the tomb. So some women went down first, and they went down to the tomb. I don't know what they were thinking of. There's a massive great stone there, and he's dead. What were they thinking of? But the stone was rolled away. And in the tomb, and on the stone outside, there was some men in white, and they said, "Why are you looking for the living among the dead?" It's decision day. It's decision day. Because I have to decide. You have to decide. Are you going to look and keep looking for the living among the dead? For all that's going to pass away and rot and fade and die, or everything that's going to stop, everything that's going to come to an end, even my own life at some point will come to an end. But here's something that's different. Here's a man who died and has come alive again. Who am I going to believe? Am I going to believe the one who says that disciples have taken him and they buried him somewhere else? And that just gets rid of the issue. I don't have to think about Jesus anymore. Or am I going to believe the ones who have said that they've seen him? Oh, they are so mixed up emotionally that they're a right mess. They don't know whether they're coming or going. Because for one moment, he's absolutely dead and they've seen him on the cross, and how that hurt. I remember when I was looking and thinking about the cross and thinking what is done there. It's horrid. And for a few moments, a few hours, they're thinking that's it. He's gone. It's finished. It's over. And all their hopes and dreams were dashed. This one who came in on a donkey into Jerusalem with such excitement and celebration, riding like a king, but really humbly, not in a great chariot and hundreds of soldiers and noise, but simply riding on a donkey. So we made our own noise. It was exciting because he's such a good man. But he died. But today's decision day, because I'm told that he's alive. He's alive right now. What am I going to believe? I haven't seen him physically myself. I haven't. But the people who have seen him, they tell me. Why should I think that they're lying to me? He was a good man. I miss him. I used to love listening to him. It's like I've lost a friend. But they're telling me that he's not gone. He's alive. And they're remembering something. They're remembering. I've heard this from a few different people. They're remembering that he said that he had to suffer and he had to die and then he'd rise again. It's hard to get your head round. But today is the decision day. Because it makes all the difference as to how to think about life from now on. A decision day. Do I want a life with him or a life without him? Do I want a life with his with his wisdom and his hope and his gentleness? Do I want a life with his compassion and kindness? Do I want a life with his love and do I want him to be with me? Or do I decide to listen to those voices that say it's not true, that he's not really alive? Do I want to listen to that crowd? I've listened to some crowds before. I've just told you again, I've listened to that crowd that shouted, "Hallelujah! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." I found myself joining in with the singing with that crowd. But I also found myself joining in with other people that were shouting to crucify him. And I found myself swayed by all those other voices. And I've just gone with this crowd when I'm with them. And then I've gone with this crowd when I'm with them. But today is decision day. Am I going to go with what I believe to be true? I have to decide. Is he alive or is he dead? Is he dead or is he alive? I have to choose. And what do I use to base that on? What do I base my decision on? What do I base my decision on? Who gains out of my decision? Who benefits from my choosing to believe or not believe? Who gets the credit for it? It's easy to believe he's dead and be done with it. That's it, it's over. I've made my decision, it's done. But to believe he's alive, I don't get any credit for that. He gets the credit because he's alive. Because he was dead and now he's alive. I haven't done that. I'm one of the ones who called out that he'd die. I'm one of the ones who behaved in such a way that it led him to die on the cross. That's what I get credit for. The one who leads him to the cross and have those nails into his hands and his feet. That crown of thorns on his head. To have that spear stabbed in his side to die. That's what I have credit for. But today's decision day. Am I going to decide for him or against him and just say he's dead and gone and he's irrelevant? If I decide for him, he gets the credit. Because I didn't make him live. I didn't make him live. He's done that himself. Today is decision day. Do I believe he's dead, gone, it's over, it's finished? He's just someone in the course of history. Or do I believe the testimony of the ones who saw him? It wouldn't surprise me if they wrote this down so that the message got out. And they pass it around so that people can hear. So that others can believe what they believe and what they know to be true because they've seen it. Oh, I've got to decide. Do I want on record that what I'm credited with is being the one who put him to death through my chanting and calling for him to die, by the way that I joined in with the crowd. Today's decision day. I need to decide. Or am I going to believe the witnesses and the testimony? Not just from one or two people. No, it's not just one or two. It's not just the close dozen of people. It's hundreds of people. They've seen him. It's not just one person with a strange idea. No, this is a whole load of witnesses. And they're standing their ground. It looks like it's going to cost them their life, because there are some people who are so against this. But they're standing their ground because it's true. Because it's true. I have to decide today. And if I decide for him, if I'm going to decide and believe that he is alive, then I'm going to give him all the credit. Because I'm the one that put him to death. But he's the one that's come alive. Not only come alive, but come alive and shown himself. I think there's so much more to this than meets the eye. And today, I decide. He's alive. Jesus Christ is risen today. Hallelujah.